I'm not
anxious.
About for this Saturday.
You know, as much as anything, I guess always the first game, you just want to start to see the personality of your team, and you see it through the year to some degree, and I like what I've seen. But until you're in competition, until you're in, out on the field by themselves and in the moment, and having to deal with 3.5, 4 hours of football, how do you come out at halftime? How do you, what's your attitude through the whole game? And until you see that happening, you don't really know. So what kind of toughness you play with, all of those things, you just want to see it on the field, because I say it a lot, from one year to the other, teams are different to me, and quite a bit different. So you want to just see what kind of makeup they have when they start to play.
Do you really know what Joey can do if you have to use him?
Joey's much further along, a ton further along than he was a year ago, just as Sam is. Joey's been taking a ton of snaps all through spring, all through last year, all through this camp. So we feel really good about where Joey is as well. He is much further along.
Just given his lack of game experience, does that make you anxious?
No, he's no different than any other second-team guy we've had for 10 years.
Is Landry still in that mix too?
To some degree, but no, right now, Joey's solid number 2.
Bob, along attitude, and I'm not forming a conclusion here, do you think last year's team ever really developed a consistent attitude you could count on?
Oh, I think down the, I don't know. There's a good number of games where they did, but then there's some games where I felt with turnovers and some lack of focus and some of the things, the way we played, we showed a lack of toughness to be able to handle some situations. So, we stepped up in some degree, and I felt we didn't do our best in some others.
Coach, a lot of people don't know about Mike Falligan. Can you talk a little bit about how he got to your program? He's your oldest player.
Yeah, he's, Mike's had an interesting road, out of school for a while and working a blue-collar job, and then back to school and back to the junior college and, getting his AA and wanted to finish college and play ball. And, just a good, tough guy. I tell you, he's fun to coach every day. He has a maturity to him, being that he is a little bit older, that there's very little playing around to him. He's just got a more serious focus and attitude to him. So he's been a lot of fun to coach. And I think that background of working a blue-collar job and being a few years older than the other guys, he knows that this is important to him, and it isn't just fun and games, though, they have a good time, but he knows it's what he wants out of it, and he works that way. So he's coming along in a good way.
First, talk about DeMarco Murray, please. How's he look?
He looks really good, like he always does. DeMarco's looks great. He's running around in a great way, and I'm anxious to see him out there in live action. We've limited how many scrimmage reps he's had, but he's had some and looks strong and powerful when he does. I think that always is. I don't know, maybe it isn't overlooked by you guys, but how physical he really is. He's a fairly big guy. When you get up next to him and the strength he has and runs that way when he needs to.
Do you foresee a division of the carries, or could DeMarco be like Adrian, just the back as long as he's healthy?
Well, I don't know that I don't know that that's his style, to be honest with you. In fact, I don't believe it is. His style to tote it like Adrian 30, 35 times a game and pound it inside, and they're just different styles in the way they run. But but I think he'll be advantaged by the quality of back that Chris Brown is. And I think the two of them really complement each other in a great, great way. Chris Brown is as good a player as we have. He's just not as flashy, so he doesn't get some of the notoriety, but consistently for the last couple of years and running the ball and coaches being pleased and grading out what, the holes he picks and where he goes is consistent, as good as anyone we have. So I think that's going to advantage DeMarco in keeping him fresh and being able to use DeMarco in a lot of ways, not just inside the tackles, but doing some other things outside with them as well.
Where's Moses Madu in this?
He's doing well. Moses has had a really good camp, and and we'll find our way to try and get him some carries and some some balls to him as well. And then you'll be mad that Jermaine didn't get enough, and then so-and-so. So we're going to use them all. Okay. I am too.
Back in the spring, Sam seemed to understand that he needed to be more of a leader, being a young guy. Could you just talk about how he's developed in that respect since last year? And did you or Coach Heifel ever have any discussions with him about that?
I'm sure Josh has. I don't, it happens naturally to me. I think a guy to walk in as a freshman, hasn't played yet, hasn't been named a starter, and to walk around telling people what to do doesn't usually go over real well in the locker room or on a field. I've been on enough of them to know. So Sam is a smart guy. He let it come to him naturally. And I think even last year as we got midway through the year and he was playing well and, started to show, hey, I'm handling this, and towards the end, I think guys did look to him, look to his confidence in the huddle, his poise in tough situations. And I think, without him even trying to, he did a year ago, towards the end of the year. And I think it was just natural once the season was over, the way he works, the attitude he has, that players look to him, that this guy really has it together and is what you want. And the way he works, how humble he is, loves his teammates. The guy's a popular guy, not because he's good, because of how he handles himself. And I think it happens for him naturally, and he's doing a great job with it.
I would assume that makes you happy to see his team vote him a captain.
Absolutely. It doesn't have to happen, and Sam's doing a great job. If some guys may have thought he was too young, but obviously they didn't, and so it is pleasing to know that's how they look at him.
Coach, on that same thing, talk about Gerald McCoy being named a captain on defense.
Gerald has a lot of the qualities of Sam. An incredibly humble guy that teammates just absolutely love to be around him, and is a great worker in everything that he does in the weight room, and great going to class, always on time for everything we do in our building, and then on the field he just plays so hard. So he's all the things you look for, and I know the players recognize that hey, this is a guy that does all the things you want, and this is how we ought to act, and so we're hoping Gerald has a really big year.
Bob, did you talk about Tennessee Chattanooga and what they do offensively?
Yeah, they're offensively, they're a team that loves they try and get you off balance with run and pass. They want to run the football. They get in a lot of two back or two tight end sets and run the ball, and then they got a lot of play action and boot passing, play action and boot, moving the pocket, passing off of it. That's how they really want to play, and again, value running the football. And then defensively, they've changed from a 3-4 to a 4-3, a conventional 4-3 defense with a lot of zone coverages, 4 deep, 3 deep, some zone blitzing with it. With their new coordinator is what we expect, and we've watched all the tape of where he's from, and so in the end, it's fairly conventional in what we'll see. So again, solid team though in their schemes and what they try and do.
Bob, do you expect the fullback position to be improved?
For us, well, I'm not going to sit here and talk about someone who isn't with us, but these guys, Matt Clapp has done a great job for us, and I expect him to play really well. Yeah, so I'm not comparing. Matt's a very physical guy. He's got great size to him, a lot of ability. Really is an excellent player for us on all our special teams. But it's got a good frame to him. I don't know what they list Matt, about 6'2", about 235, 240, runs well. And we've been very pleased with how Matt has played spring, camp, all of that. Been very good for us.
Bob, you don't have a lot of experience in 1AA conference. Your first game was the last time you had one. If you had some before that, K-State, you guys probably remember once more.
Don't take me back to those early years anyway.
What do you...
Let's talk about the last 4 or 5 at K-State.
What do you, when you compare a 1AA program to a 1A program, what are the main differences?
Oh, geez, I'm as far as running the program, or you're...
just in playing a 1A school and a 1AA, is it? Playing somebody with 65 scholarships is 85.
Well, that's what I was going to state, some of the obvious, or do you want me not to state that?
I know what
Well, I'm just asking. I don't know where you want me to go.
When you play a UAB and then you play Chattanooga, what? I mean, neither one's in the spot.
As far if you're asking me in regard to getting ready to play, nothing. We do nothing whatsoever differently, and look at everybody equally and with respect, and anyone is capable of beating anybody if they're playing well and you're not. And so we prepare exactly like we would for anyone. And in repetitions and practice time and film time, our routine is really the same the entire year.
Would you prefer to not play a 1AA opponent?
Well, and we're getting ready to play one, so that's not a fair question. And the bottom line is, I think through our history here, and Mr. Joe Castiglione, our athletic director, I think does a fabulous job of our scheduling, and we always confer. But throughout the country, I think it's been obvious to everybody in a lot of situations, sometimes you're left without a game because somebody pulls out or changes the contract on you, and things need to be adjusted, and there's not a lot of people always willing to go play you. So in the end, you do the best you can to get a strong schedule, or one that the fans are going to enjoy, and one that you do the best you can. And I think over the years ours has been pretty good. I don't need to tell you all the people we played and who's on the schedule to play. So.